Hello and welcome back to another one of Tech's Guides. We're going to have a look at how to refine in today's video. So there are 4 important things you need to know or need to be able to refine. First one is being gold, second is refining stones, third is gems, and then fourth is the equipment. So if we have a quick look at the equipment, what equipment should you be refining? So obviously, as we have gone through in previous episodes, you have your gathering gear, which we will be not looking at this episode. We're going to mainly look at the Dragon and Archimedes gear sets in terms of the whole upgrading lines as well. So when it comes to the Dragon set, I would only do this at the very beginning of the game if it is needed for killing monsters in terms of the attack buffs that you can get from them. This is for the reason of they are 5% under the buff maximum that once you upgrade it to Imperial, you'll have a chance of getting 30% buffs, whereas Dragon and Ares will only give you 25% as their maximum. So you'll be missing 5% on each refine potentially. But once you get to the Imperial set after the Ares, and then you can go to the Apollo afterwards, it does give you the 30%, so you're more free to upgrade these and not feel like you're missing out on percentages. Now when it comes to the debuff set line, which starts with the Archimedes, that starts straight off with the 30%, so if you're wanting to use this as cheap PvP gear, then this is perfect because you can get it from a very early keep level and it's straight away with the 30% refines. So let's go straight into refining. So to refine, you'll want a bit of gear on a general. I've got the Freedom Star, which is a bit of Civ gear to have a look at, and you'll see why in a little bit. So you press refine, and you come to this page here. So it will tell you the cost in refining stones and gold, and then it goes through the filters. So for this, you have the gold attribute, which is the best attribute, the orange, which is the second best, the purple, which is the third, and then the plain grey as the worst. Now, if you go to Advanced Refine, it will tell you every buff you can get on this bit of equipment, and they do change. So if we go back quickly, the attack buffs you can get on the weapon and the ring swap, the HP you can get on the helmet and the legs, and the defense are on the armor and the boots. So they all upgrade to the same percentage, it's just that each bit of gear has their own percentage buffs, their own stats that they can get. So for example, this one being the attack one. So to refine, you just press refine and it will spend the refining stones and the gold. So what I would suggest you do is, especially for your first refine, you just keep going until you find a gold buff that you want, and then when you find it, so I'll just on this one, I'll say that ground troop attack is a gold. I know it's orange, but we're going to pretend it's gold. So say I don't know, 29%. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll lock it. And now there is a change. This is where the gems comes in. So now because I've locked it, it now costs gems per refine. Now for regular gear through the Dragon and Archimedes sets and the upgraded sets, the refine cost is 2,000 gems per locked refine. So for this one it would be 2,000 as this one is, but that's because of a event I'll go through at the end of the episode. And then the second one would be 4,000, 6,000 with, as you can see, Civ gear being 2,000 gems higher. So we're going to pretend I've got the Manta Troop attack 29%. So I've got that. So I'll basically go through again, and for the second one I would recommend getting another gold and trying to get it on the top half of the percentages again. So I'd look at about sort of 27% onwards, hoping for like a 28-29%, because this will be your second cheapest refine that you can get, and it'll be your second easiest because you're still rolling through 3 different refines. So we're just going to say that I got a second one. Now for the third one, I would just go for any gold, assuming that this is a piece of gear that you want to go through long term, because gear can change generals, so you want to make sure that your gear is top notch and as high as it can possibly be, even if it does cost a bit more, because if you can get it right the first time, you save yourself a hell of a lot of gems, and I can tell you that from experience. So I would try again and get it as high as possible. Now the difference with the fourth one, especially for regular gear, is it is going to be super expensive at 6,000 gems per roll. So I would just go for any buff, any grade buff, the one that you want. So if it's mounted troop attack, I would just get a mounted troop attack there. If you want to go for a purple or orange as your minimum, do that, but just get one there, unless you have the gems to go for a real hard push to try and get a gold, because from my personal experience, some bits of gear have cost me about 300,000 gems to get 4 golds on. I've had others cost me 7 million plus. It is complete luck of the draw on the gear, so just make sure that you have the gems willing to spare and use on this. So as I said, best case practice is as high as you possibly can towards that 30% on your first gold. Second gold, you need it as close to that as again, because it's your second cheapest one. Third one could be a bit more lenient, but try and aim for, again, the gold. And the last one, you're going to want gold in the future, but for any time where if the first 2 cost you an arm and a leg and you don't have another leg to go, just go for any old stat that just gives you a bit of a bonus. So there is a difference between the Civ gear and the regular gear, and it's not just that Civ gear costs 2,000 more gems per refine, it's also that once you get 4 golds, you unlock the advanced refining, which you can find in the Wander. So if you go to the Wander and advanced refine, so here we have the Civ gear that you own that has 4 gold refines. So for this one, you'd want to get the first 3 refines the gold that you want, and on the final one, you just pick any gold you want, because once you unlock this, it does not matter if you refine it and it doesn't roll on the gold, you have it. So this allows you to spend refine stones and gold 50 times a day per equipment to get extra stats. So the first stats or 2 give you a few percentage, but every stat afterwards only gives you 0.5%, and you just go through them, and you can get critical hits, as you're seeing I'm getting ×2, ×5, and you can do this 50 times a day. Now it does cost an awful amount of refining stones, so if you are free to play low coiner, you're not going to have enough to do this every day, so you're going to want to make sure you do this during the refine event, but you eventually will have enough Civ gear to just plow through your refining gems if you don't have any more gear to refine itself. But yeah, these are easy buffs to get because you know exactly what you're getting, you know roughly how much you're going to have to spend to get it, and it's nothing that's, as you're getting further into the game, they're sort of useless items anyway, so it just gives you a use to put them in to get extra buffs. So going back to the refining and locking, as we could see with my Civ gear, I had it at a discount. If I go back quick, so we could see that my discount was 2,000 gems. Now this is because an event called Blessing of Palace, which is on right now. So in this event there are bits that you can buy, but you don't have to. There is a free one at the bottom that you can claim. Now this free blessing will stack and move between events. So unless you use it refining your gear, it will stay there. So the event can end, you could have collected it every day, and the next event starts with it, and you can collect them all again, and they just constantly stack on top of each other. So if you stack enough of them, you'll constantly have a 2000 gem discount until you've used them all up when locking and refining. So this can mean for regular gear that second refine, once you've locked your first, is free until you run out of these. And then with Civ gear, obviously it will still cost you 2000 gems, but it's 2000 less than it would be. And yeah, this is an amazing way to just stack up the discount until you can have a session of big refining days. So yeah, I hope this has helped. I know it's very simple in some ways, but there are people that are joining the game who may not understand this entirely, and I hope this has helped a little bit. But yeah, just go for the gold stats as soon as possible. Do not go for a gold and say a purple and then a gold. You want to make sure that you get the most chance of getting a gold with the least amount of gems spent, because this will eat your gems up on some equipment, and then there's others that you'll get it easy peasy, but just make it easier on yourself. Thank you very much and have a good night.